Alright, I think I'm ready. We're gonna find out. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna start us off over in chat in here so I can do my intro. Hello there. I'm Enviroboy. This is my channel, and I'm all sorts of out of sorts. Because I actually have a microphone now. Oh, there it is. Like, wow. This is exciting for me. Because normally I have to use my goofy like gaming headset and just have the cans sitting here on my neck, feeling like a friggin' turtleneck of plastic with my with my little microphone. Makes me sound like an air traffic controller. But I got a microphone and it's right there. Wow. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I have no idea if the levels are exactly where I want or need them to be. So there's a good chance that I'm deafening people. And if that's the case, just scream at me in the chat. Because I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is it feels weird and you can see my neck. And it's a weird situation. And I'm not used to it. And it's going to be goofy for a little bit. But I'm excited about it. I used it. I did use the new mic last night for my D&D session with my buds, and the overall consensus was that it was good, and it made my voice sound much deeper and richer and more velvety. I don't know how to judge my own voice. Anytime I hear my own voice, it sounds weird, so I don't know. I don't know about the quality of my voice. All I know is that it's exciting, and I'm having fun with it, and it's gonna be good times. It's gonna be real good times. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and let's get ourselves over. Now we can go to our live scene. Oh, wow! There we are. Here we are in a live scene. It's Tuesday. And yeah, I missed yesterday. I wasn't around to stream yesterday. I was kind of, I mean, you know, it was for good stuff. It was for family stuff. You know, I was busy visiting family members and all that kind of stuff, and ain't nothing wrong with that. I had a good time. With family doing that, but I did miss being on stream here. So I'm glad to be back today. And yeah, we're diving into Lore Day, which actually I think that kind of timing wise works out really well, because the thing of it is, like, we're starting a new chapter of our campaign that we've been working on, and I got so caught up in being excited about the chapter that comes after that one that I kind of forgot to do most of the prep work involved with the chapter that we're on, chapter 6. So I'm really glad that we're kind of doing a lore session today. Yeah, it'll be, because I'm really excited to fill in some of the stuff that we need to really get this chapter going. Hey, Out of the Water Studios, is there a nickname? That would be hard to address you by that. It feels like addressing someone by first, middle, and last name. But welcome, glad you're here. Glad to have you here. I'm really out of sorts and excited about things, because I'm sitting here with my new mic, and it's just like I feel so free. Like I can move around. Like I don't have my usual headset on, and I can just move all around. And it's weird, and I'm feeling like a spaz about it. But welcome. We're gonna work on some writing here. We're gonna work on we're working on some lore. Oh, gotcha. Average Magic player. Welcome, you're under an alias. Oh, boy. Gotcha. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. So like I was saying, before I got distracted with being so excited about my freedom of movement that I have right now. I mean, mostly freedom of movement. There's a big boom arm, right here that goes, this way. And that's kind of getting in the way of my usual. I had to move my beverage to my left side here, and that's kind of weird for me. But you know, what am I even doing here? My gosh, I am just out of it today. Yeah, we're gonna work on some lore. We're gonna work on some background information for this next chapter in our campaign that we're working on here. It's going to take place in a little city, and we had. Oh, let me get my tabs all in order here. So we put this bad boy down. A great job to pay for that. Yeah, a job that pays for a whole $50 off Amazon microphone. This is not a fancy mic. This is like the bare minimum USB mic I was able to get. Oh boy. I mean, it's better than I was using. That's for ding dong, sure. A 10-year-old gaming headset was my previous setup. Very, very high tech. It made me sound like an air traffic controller. No, I'm flattered. I'm actually really pleased that you thought it was an expensive setup, because that makes me feel good about the fact that I definitely have. Whoops, I'm bumping it. I'm not used to it being there. That I got a decent quality microphone. That's reassuring. It wasn't $50 wasted. So that's a very, very good thing if you ask me. I'm stoked about it. So okay, so we were working on so this next chapter is going to be taking place. So the campaign that we've been working on, right, takes place all up in this map space here, and we just kind of finished a chapter where our players were underground, under the mountains, and before that our players were on top of the mountains, and so the next kind of stage is going to be taking place up in this forest here. But before that, we got to get to that forest. And the way we're going to do that is by means of this city right here, which is going to be connected to this wizard tower, which is where they'll find a portal that will take them here so they don't have to traverse the dangerous mountains. So, you know what? I've been good. I had a good weekend. I visited some family this weekend. That's why I wasn't able to stream yesterday. I was out of town. Well, yesterday I was getting back in town, but I was visiting some family, and that's always a good thing. And yeah, so I'm in a good place. I visited family. I got a new microphone. No comment on the importance scaling of those two things. No, it was a good weekend. It was a good long weekend for me. So I'm in a good headspace, and I'm ready to do some writing and streaming. I'm glad to be back. It's good times all around, my man. But yeah, so we're gonna do some stuff in this city, and we do eventually need to get to a point where we're like, fleshing out the city for the sake of dungeons and campaign adventures and stuff there. But today being lore day, I thought this was really good because I haven't hardly thought about this city at all. I had kind of forgotten that our players would need to take, like, through all the excitement of our players, exploring Kagdaral, our dwarven city here. I had kind of forgotten that there was going to be anything in between that and going to the elven city up here. So I hadn't really given any thought to the city at all, and that's just not right. I mean, the city's going to be an important part of our campaign here, so we're going to go ahead and spend some time just kind of fleshing out the lore of this city. It's not going to be particularly complex. I don't think this city needs to have anything super duper complicated. And so I think but it's still, I mean, my philosophy has always been, if it's important enough to put in the game at all, it's important enough to think about the history, like the past, present, and future of it. And so I really want to take just a couple hours really, today, and do some due diligence and just kind of think about what the nature of this city is going to be. So that way it's like an actual lived out, fleshed out idea for our players when they get to it. I don't like giving players half-baked environments. It just feels like like I always end up feeling like I could do better. I feel like they could be having more fun if I had taken more time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that time. Let's see here. Oh, did they delay Baldur's Gate? I'm sorry to hear that. I know you meant, I feel like it was you that mentioned it a little while ago. You were pretty stoked about that. You were mentioning it to me. That's, just look at it this way. You can either have it delayed and have a good game get released, or they can release it too early and have what is apparently the trend nowadays, where they release a half-baked game. It's not great, and then everyone hates it until they patch it, 6 months later, and no one cares anymore. Like, those seem to be the two options: is it gets delayed but it gets released complete, or it gets released on time as an incomplete product. So just look at it that way and be hopeful that it'll turn out to be a good game. That's my optimistic take on it. But yeah, so we got our city of Minadala here, and it is going to be attached to a wizard tower, and so we're definitely going to be doing some work with that on our notes and everything like that. But let's get ourselves to our page here. So we've got we have a little bit of history that we've already talked about with this city here. So Minadala was a city that lived at a very leisurely pace, and I remember writing all this on Friday, sort of thinking that we could. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Get it nice and zoomed in, because the one problem with this new mic, that it's stationary and not like attached to me, is I can't like lean in and squint and have the mic still like be there. Yeah, like the levels are it's not right. No, it doesn't work like that anymore. So I got to make it nice and big, because as evidenced by the fact that my nice mic is a $50 one, I don't have money to get super nice big giant screen. So I got to make things nice and big on the screen so I can see what the heck I'm looking at. But yeah, so I remember writing this and kind of discussing and sharing stories about the time when I spent a month living in Africa and how clocks just weren't really a thing there. And so like I feel very inspired to make this city kind of within the same pace of life. So yeah, I want to do that. I want to keep that sort of atmosphere as we're continuing to write all this stuff. So yeah, COVID hit most every business pretty hard. So there's definitely stuff like that. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't know anything about finances. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I barely know how to handle my finances, so I certainly can't weigh in. Hopefully everything works out and the game releases and it's something that you like, though. Clock started thing. I don't know about Australia. All I know is in Africa, when you're living among the communities that are still very tribal in Africa, and their exciting big news is that they got an X-ray machine at the biggest hospital in the country. And that was like 10 years ago, and they were just getting an X-ray machine. It's the technology's not exactly in the same places as it is here in the first world. So for them, clocks are just not as much of a bother. Not when we're talking about I got to go to the market, which is just like open air everything. It's kind of just like, I'm going there this afternoon, and that's about as detailed as they get with it. And there's something kind of beautiful about that. And there's a certain wisdom to not being too attached to clocks buried in there. Yeah, no, I've never been to Australia. I don't know jack about Australia. But no, I know in parts of Africa, it's definitely because parts of Africa are still very tribal in nature, and many of them still live very much lives without an abundance of electricity or anything like that. So life is just different there. Life is just really different, and it was a really fascinating thing to be there. But I don't know. Watch the VOD on YouTube from last Friday, and you can hear all the stories about that. I don't need to rehash all that stuff out. So we've got this city here. Factions and leaders, I'm not really super worried about this. This isn't part of this city, and it never really was part of that city. At least it doesn't belong there. So I think we can just kind of leave the history there. But I want to try to think about how I want to approach this and kind of think about the history. I mean, we do need to get sort of our villains and allies and stuff figured out for this, but that's going to be more so when we get there on Friday, and we're working more so on like campaign mechanics and stuff like that. I think for today, I really want to stick with the lore of this, and what I want to do, I want to go, and I feel like the lore of this city. Let me see. What did I write for here? Minadala was once a city that lived at a very leisurely pace. Extent of planning really became more detailed and knowing something needed to be done in the afternoon or similar plans. Few people had any sort of clock or watch with them, and even fewer minded them at all. People went about their business, recognizing that the important things would eventually be done, whatever time it would take to do them. As such was placed. Okay, so we talked about. Okay, so I guess as scanning this, I can see kind of, we talked about the nature of the city, but I didn't really talk about the composition of the city. So that's perfect, because I have a couple ideas about that. I have most consoles, but I don't really ever stream off of them. I don't have a good setup for streaming off consoles, so I pretty much just stream off my PC. Let's see here. So I want to go into. I want to look at races, and I want to think about, that's a loaded topic. No, I want to think a little bit about, I want to think, gosh, that's going to cut some of it off there if we make it that big. Because of the size, hold on, we'll just resize this. That's the easy way to do it. Hold on, zoom in, and then, no, like, let me adjust the size. Why are you being dumb? Why are you being dumb, one? No, okay, fine, I guess it's just going to get cut off. I apologize. I'll read all my writing out loud. So, yeah, I want to think about sort of the composition of the city, because I feel like in a lot of ways, just given how uniquely designed all of the different fantasy races in D&D are, I feel like when we kind of establish what the demographics of the city were, that will give us a lot of context about the nature of the city in general. And so we can kind of do some history there and add little bits about that, about the race within the context of the city. And so when I'm thinking about this, I have sort of in mind, if we pull out our map here, I'm thinking. So I know within here. So this is the Golden Wind Plains, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up our world map here so we can take a peeksy-poo at that. Take a little peeksy-poo. And yeah, here we go. So within our Golden Wind Plains here, this area within this fantasy world, I had always kind of envisioned that this area was largely just sort of tribal areas, similar to sort of my experiences having lived in Africa. Yeah, like I know I've thought a lot about, like, especially within this region here, the Leonins are the people that are there. So I'm thinking our city will probably have a fairly high population of Leonins, but being close to the mountains there, I kind of have this thought that this city would be kind of a joining region of like a joining of multiple different races. And sort of where they, like it would be an area where there's like an intersection, maybe is a better word for it, because we've got human civilization up here, we've got Leonin over here, intermingled with a lot of more human tribal areas, human down here, dwarf right here, and elven right here. So I feel like this city, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, would be a really interesting city of like the history, and what we present to players is sort of this history of a place that was very much a melting pot of sorts. I think that would be really interesting. I think it'd be really interesting. I think my desktop play. I have no idea. I've not looked at the specs at it whatsoever. No idea. Probably, but I have no idea. So yeah. So if this city is gonna be a melting pot, it actually. See, now here's where the breakdown of my organizational system here may suffer a little bit, because I have things very much broken down into places like a way. I have it. Gosh, I'm tripping over my words a lot today here. Let me slow down here. So I want to establish the history of this city, and usually a lot of that goes in the Atlas section here. And so maybe what I ought to do, what I ought to do. Let's get ourselves back into the Atlas here. Maybe I should just make a separate city here. Normally I reserve these city pages for like living cities. where there's actually like people alive and present to interact with, and that's not the case for this city. This city is going to be it's very much a ghost town, and that's going to be part of the fun of it. Is our players are going to have the opportunity to go through this ghost town a lot, and there's going to be like over the course of a couple days as they're helping the wizard that lives in the tower get everything that he needs to help them teleport through a portal to the Elven city. They'll have to visit it multiple days, and each day there's going to be new challenges as different wildlife goes in and out of the city, right? And that's kind of where the challenge is. Like different things will be unlocked, and there'll be different challenges for them. So man, you are hyper focused on this game. You should just try it. You should try it, man. Like you can't stop thinking about it. I'd say go for it. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a city template here. We're going to copy this, and then we'll just paste right here. And let's go ahead and use this to describe our history. So our map details, because we can actually use this as a good way to, like, actually this could be still a helpful tool for us for sort of organizing how we want this city to sort of look and be laid out, and we can actually use it as a way to sort of provide a list of explorable areas that our players can explore, and they won't be living like we would normally do, but they might still, you know, it could still be a really interesting, not interesting, a really helpful tool for us here. So let's see here. So let's go ahead and do, shoot, how did I spell this made-up city town that we're working with here? Dang it. Minadala, and there's 2 N's and 2 L's. So there's only one vowel that isn't an A. Okay, all right. Minadala, there it is. Okay, Minadala, we're gonna say, and we're gonna just put Ghost City here. Just that way if I'm like quick looking through everything. And then let's go ahead and use this and start thinking about things through here. Basic intro section, we'll leave that. We can put that and worry about that kind of towards the end of everything that we're going to write here. So let's see here. So history, so we're going to discuss the history of city. Okay, so this part we can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste. We don't need to reinvent the wheel here. So this will be just good generalized history for everything. Where am I? What's happening? Yeah, here we go. So we're gonna put this right here. This right here. And then oops, we need to bring that over there, because otherwise it's not formatted right and it's just gonna bother me. I need it to be formatted properly. So there we go. We'll do that. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, good luck figuring out how to play the game, man. I don't know nearly as much about it as you do. I wish I had more. Let's see here. Alrighty. So, oops. My noon bell alarm is going off, you guys. I gotta. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Oh, you missed. Well, I mean, first off, I'm sorry about the smell. I wish I could help you, because it doesn't sound like a pleasant smell. It does sound like a planet smell. I mean, it's originating from our planet. Second off, welcome back, man. Sometimes we get busy and caught up in things, and I don't blame you at all. And thirdly, I'm gonna keep playing Planet Zoo. I am absolutely in love with that game. You can catch up on, you can check out the VODs. If they're not still, I think they should still. I only started playing it recently. They should both still be up on Twitch, or you can check them out on YouTube. But either way, I'm still playing that game. I am way too obsessed with how adorable that game is. I will be playing. So like, come check it out this Friday. I'll be there. You know I'll be there. You can't keep me away. Cannot keep me away. Oh my goodness. Okay. Why would... Okay, yeah. If I was gonna say, like, there must be something lost in translation there, because that is not an appetizing name for a dish. I'll be perfectly honest here. All right, so we've got this history, this bit of history here. Pre-unhinging, Minadala was once okay, and then when the unhinging occurred, due to the relaxed and unconcerned attitudes of the people, Minadala was woefully unprepared. Hold on, I'm gonna clarify this. Unprepared for the unhinging. Though the effects of the event were not as rapid here as other places in Zaoria, the increase in attacks from wild animals of monstrous proportions was something that people simply couldn't cope with. More and more incidents occurred every day, and soon it was clear that the people that they could no longer stay here. The then mayor of the city, with the help of a powerful local wizard, contacted leaders in Phosphik and ensured welcome of the people as if they collectively fled north. So that's what they did, leaving their ways of life behind and taking only what few warm clothes they had as they accepted a new life away from home. In the days since, the city has largely been left untouched. Occasional beast will find its way into the city from time to time, but most do not stay more than a night or two as needed for shelter, as there is little of value to a beast in need of food and water. As such, the city serves as a strange sort of time capsule in which life from a few thousand years ago remains framed in the ancient buildings that have managed to stay standing. Only one consistent resident remains, but he lives a life of seclusion up in the tower just outside of town, largely unaware of how time is impacting the world around him. Okay, so I think that's good. So, oh man, you guys are talking about that dish quite a bit here. Okay, so like a type of sausage. Well, I mean, that sounds good. Okay, so my efforts to play Planet Zoo have been slow, mostly because there's a lot to control in that game. But I've kind of been getting the hang of it, and I'm excited to keep playing it. So you should definitely come by. I've got big ideas for my zoo. I've got big ideas, and the debate is going to be whether or not I'm going to bother trying to do like a franchise mode, or if I'm just going to sandbox it. But we'll find out on Friday. So looking at this here, I want to add one little bit here, and a collection of foreigners. So we'll do that. So we'll do, in addition to the large, we'll say to the consistently large number of tourists in the area. In addition to the consistently large number of tourists in the area, the city itself serves as a sort. There's kind of a bit of alliteration going on here. City itself serves as a sort of melting pot for the surrounding areas. Dwarves from the mountains, elves from the Siski forest, Leonins. There it is. Leonins and humans from the Golden Wind plains, and a handful of other populations make up the steady demographics of the city. Boom. And we got to change this to past tense because it doesn't do it anymore. Viking city of roller coasters. That would be interesting. Would it all just be the ship ride that like swings back and forth? Is that like, would it just be like 50 of those? all just Viking ship rides. That and log flumes. That'd be a good one. Alright, so in addition to consistently large numbers of tourists in the area, the city itself serves as a sort of melting pot for the surrounding areas. Dwarves from the mountains, elves from the Siski forest, Leonins, and humans from the Golden Wind plains, and a handful of other populations made up the steady demographics of the city back when it was alive. as a result, as a result, the city had a unique, we'll say unique, what's happening? Why am I freezing up here? Unique and charming mix of cultural staples, and actually we'll just say cultural districts. Boom, we'll do that. And I honestly think that's kind of all we need. I do have a Discord, Thex. You can find a link to it on my about page, or the bot that's going in here will provide a link for it soon. But I do have a Discord, so get yourself hooked up with that. Let's see here. Okay, so in addition to the constantly large number of tourists in the area, city itself, yeah, I think that's kind of all we need. That kind of city had a unique districts. We'll just add one little capstone here for the sake of narration. Truly, it was an exciting and diverse place to be in its heyday. Heyday. There it is. That's the one. Like, hey there, day. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Exciting and diverse place to be in its heyday. Perfect. Okay, demographics here. We'll add a bit more detail. Primarily, the city was composed of humans. Because I do think that just given because if we look at let's find our world map here again. If we kind of look at this within the regions, the way I've structured my world, right? We had humans that were living kind of more simple, tribal sort of lives in the plains over here. But then we also had the larger city of Mofafetting down here, as well as the city of Fosvik up there. And so the human populations kind of had this region surrounded in a lot of ways. So I feel like the human population would be one of the largest, followed by the Leonins. I mean, we do have a large dwarven population in the mountains over here, but the dwarves themselves, not many of them would have reason or desire to leave the mountains. So there would be some dwarves present in a city outside of the mountains for this, that, or the other reason, but most of them wouldn't actually live there. You'd see a lot of visitors, probably for the sake of trade and all that kind of stuff, but generally speaking, there wouldn't actually be a large population of them. And the elves, again, same thing. They wouldn't really want to leave the forest up here. They would maybe come visit for this, that, or the other reason, especially back in the day when the tower had that teleportation ability to go back and forth between the cities. So there would be those populations present there, but humans would be the most populous, maybe followed by the Leonin, I would think. But even then, the Leonin would be much more interested in maintaining their sort of tribal lives and communities and everything. So I think that it'll be mostly humans there. So let's go ahead and reflect that here. So primarily the city was composed of humans. Having humans due to their large presence throughout the surrounding regions. There were many reasons for people to choose to live in Minadala, but whatever the reason, humans were drawn to the city the most. Second most populous would have been the Leonin people, though insignificantly. That's kind of a strange, though insignificantly, because it's like, it could be insignificantly, which is like not a lot, but if you say in space significantly, that is a lot. English language is weird. Let's see here. It's supposed to unlock that. So I'll have to go in and verify you manually. If you just put in, if you in the welcome page, put in your thing. I just do that to make sure that bots can't spam or get in there or anything like that. So I will, when I get the chance, I'll do that, and then you can hopefully I'll have the chance to manage that later today. We'll get you set up. We'll get you there. It's a process. I'm a one-man show here. I got so much on my plate. I have so many things and so little time. I've been streaming a year and I only just got a microphone. I work on my own pace. I work on, as discussed earlier, I work on Africa time, which is just things get done when they get done, and sometimes that's that's the best I'm capable of sometimes. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, second most populous would have been the Leonin people, though in significantly fewer numbers than the humans. I don't know. I kind of want to. Trying to think about how I want to. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I know how I'm gonna do this. I know exactly what I'm gonna do with this. We'll finish this. Significantly fewer numbers than the humans. Following the Leonins in number would have been the dwarves and elves, who, though in very few numbers, would have migrated from the mountains and forest to the north. Boom, we'll do that. Okay, so that's good. And I think that kind of covers all of our just like basics there. It's kind of all we really need for there, just like a little cliff note type of situation. Leadership. I'm not going to worry about underlings. I'm not going to worry about giving so this type of stuff is usually what I'll do if the city has, like, the city is alive and functional and in need of some sort of like intrigue to drive player goals and missions and stuff like that. Like, I like to provide different like angles, so if players want to do like political back dealings and stuff like that, this sort of serves as the backdrop for that. But since this is a ghost city and we're just describing the history, I don't think this is necessary to put that much detail. So instead, I'm just going to do, kind of like with the demographics, just like a quick little blurb about the nature of the leadership in this city. And the nature of this one would have been, the way I'm envisioning it, would have been more of a council of leaders rather than a singular king or anything like that. If there were, it would have been just like a figurehead. So we're going to say the city of Minadala was led by a council of, we'll say council of elders, one from each the humans, we'll do humans, Leonin, dwarves, and elves, in addition to one other member chosen by the for other members to serve as a tie-breaking vote. I don't know how functional this would have been. I'm going to be perfectly honest. As a governmental system, this is rudimentary, and there's definitely a lot of room for corruption. And if the city was alive, I would think more deeply about that and incorporate a lot of stuff about that into how the city operates and what our players can do with that. Considering we're describing a ghost city, we're just going to leave it at that. We're just going to leave it at that and just not overthink it, because it really doesn't matter. We're just kind of trying to set a backdrop for how this would have been structured, and this kind of gives us some ideas about different locations, so we could have like the council house or something like that for our players to interact with. So I think that would have been, I think that would be great, just as it is. I don't know that we need a whole lot else. Like I say, it's not actually a functional governmental system to do it that way, but I'm not sitting here trying to develop a real nation. I'm just creating a city here. Chosen by 4 other members to serve as a tie-breaking vote. Let's see here. We'll just say largely this system worked and was enjoyed by the people of the city. We'll go ahead and address it this way. Occasionally, occasionally there were issues with this system due to corruption and or inaction by the council, but through history the system worked as a way to ensure that the interests of all represented races were heard and met within appropriate compromise. Boom. We'll just leave it like that. I don't know that we need to do any more detail because, again, we're just trying to set up the backdrop here. So now what I want to do is I actually do want to make a little bit of a map of this, and we'll kind of we'll use that as a way to sort of describe a little extra stuff going on in here. And I think I got an idea. So let's go ahead and have some fun here. Let's start a new map. Let's just make a new map. Oops, I don't want it shaped like that. Let me try that again. Close out of that one. Pull this up. Again, we need a new map. I think I want to rotate these. I always just go with the screen size for these maps, just because that keeps it a nice pretty. That keeps it like a nice visual, a nice sharp, crisp map, and then we're gonna go. So we're gonna do 1920 by 1080. We'll do it that way. Oh wait, no, never mind. Hold on. Cancel. I'm being silly because they have a landscape. So if we do that, now that should, there we go. That's what we're looking for right there. That's what we're looking for. So we've got just a nice little map here. Let's go ahead and let's see here. We can even like draw regions on our map here, and I think visually that'll be kind of fun and interesting to make it look kind of cool. But first off, let's go ahead and put ourselves some mountains here, and let's try and make sure. Oh shoot, hold on. We need to open up our region map again, because I want to try and keep it at least kind of consistent. You know what I mean? Gotta keep it looking at least a little consistent with what we've already done. So the mountains kind of scoop around, and we got a river that runs on the west side of it, and then kind of the north and east sides here we have mountains present. So let's go ahead and use our mountains. Should provide us kind of, yeah, some random mountains here, and so we can just kind of fill this in, right? And so like we'll kind of let there be some little spaces there. Part of me does kind of wish that the mountains would be a little bit larger. I feel like that would look a bit better, but hey, you know, sometimes things are imperfect and we just have to accept them for what they are. So we'll do that, and then let's do our river tool here. So I kind of want this to be a bit bigger, just for the sake of our scale here. Even bigger, actually. Yeah, for the sake of the scale, that's perfect. So we can just kind of do, just to make it kind of interesting. There, oh, no, dear. It went bye-bye. Hold on, let's try that again. Why is it, what am I doing wrong? Alright, hold on. I'll figure this out. Our river here, it's supposed to Why are they all disappearing? Oh, I think I know why. I know exactly why. Because this is all considered to be water right now. So now I'm going to have like 15. Oh, am I wrong? I thought it, yeah, there we go. See, that's the... Yeah, so, okay, why is our map tool being super weird right now? Because that's what's happening. That's all water that it's showing us there. What I'm struggling to understand is why it won't let me just use my... Oh, that's what I'm looking for. I was using the wrong brush tool. Make that nice and big. There we go. There we go. Yeah, see, look at all of our rivers. Oh, lordy. Okay, hold on. We'll get this. We'll fix this up. Alright, let's get our grab tool. There's supposed to be... Hold on, let's go to... Maybe if we go to water here. We do our grab tool. Oh my gosh, what is happening with this? Oh boy, okay. Let's just... Yeah, let's just discard that. Let's just try this again. I'll get this. We want landscape. Okay. All right. I'll figure this out. I promise. I will figure this out. Sometimes it takes me a couple tries to get things right. There we go. Okay, so we got our land. Paint our land in here. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's like cleaning a window. So satisfying. Okay, we've got our land. Now, go to symbols. Get our mountains going here. Let's get some mountains. Hold on, I want like nice big mountains. There we go, that'll work. And then let's just kind of like get our positioning going here. That'll work. There we go, that's looking good. And then we can just kind of do that there. That. Which mic did I end up getting? It's the one that when you look for a mic on Amazon is there for $50 whole. The I don't know how to pronounce it. The Mayono AU something or other. I don't know. It was inexpensive, and I was like, well, we'll just give it a shot. And it seems to be doing the trick. So hey, you know what? Take that, really expensive mics. I'm pleased with it so far. It's doing exactly what I need a USB mic to do. It sounds better than my headset mic. And I mean, honestly, that was like as good as we were going to get. If I wanted real sound quality, I'd be setting myself up with an XLR system, and maybe someday. Is okay, gain reduction. All right. I don't know. Yeah, I might need to do some stuff. Slightly peaking here. Well, what we'll do, let me just lower a little bit here and see if that improves. I've been trying to get the levels set up properly for it, but I can't. As always, I don't hear my own voice in there. Is that better? Okay, cool. We'll just leave it right there then. Yeah, I don't have my own voice feeding into my headset here because it freaks me out and confuses my ears and my brain, so I don't do it. Which, like, you know, maybe I should just like learn how to do that, but all right, so our city's gonna be tucked in there. Now let's get ourselves a river going here. Now it should show up exactly as we need it. I want the river nice and wide here, so our river kind of flows around through here. It's just kind of doing it randomly. There we go. There's our river. That's nice. That'll work just fine. So yeah, exactly. It's so distracting to have, especially if there's just a tiny bit of delay, so you hear your own words in just like a little bit of delay. Oh man, it just drives me insane. It's enough to make a man lose his mind. So yeah, no, absolutely. You've got the right of it there, that's for sure. Okay, so I don't usually use this regions tool when I'm making maps, but I think it could be kind of fun here. I want to change our color, and we're gonna try just like using the eyedropper to get that brown tool just so it matches, because the blue is just gonna look weird. So we'll do that. Oops! Oh shoot! Oh! I messed it up. I'll grab that again. Oh shoot! No! Okay. There we go. That's what I need. Because now it's going to like... Yeah, you like set it up there, and so it's like you can get regions there. You can do that. Honestly, you know what? I actually don't want to do that. That's way too modern and mechanical for the type of map I'm trying to develop here. So I don't like it. I don't like it. Undo. Make it go away. We're not gonna worry about that. Instead, we're just gonna go to symbols here. Symbols as in pictures, not symbols as in the drum. Haha, very funny joke. No one's ever said that joke before, I guarantee it. Let's see here. So we need to just, first off, go ahead and put in... Nope, grab the stuff there. Perfect. We're going to just try and fill in as much of this as we can here. And if we kind of layer these things, it won't be super obvious that we're using the same asset 8 billion times over, and that should work pretty well. And what we can actually even do is even kind of fan these out a little bit here. Let's do something like that there, and then grab like this one and fill in a little bit here, so we can do some stuff like that. It's looking a little too full actually though. Hold on, undo. Just undo it. Destroy the city. Oh wow, it's not gonna let me just undo that much. All right, fine then. I'll do it this way. Grab all these things. Make them go bye-bye. Gone. You gone. You gone. Okay. Trying again. Recentered, refocused, and trying again. I like to imagine this is like how God felt when he was first designing the earth. Like, puts like cities down. There's all kinds of life. He's like, no, I don't like this. I don't like this. Flood. I don't know. I mean, is it a little too... like a little too self-serving to compare myself to God? Is that feels like there's a little bit more hubris that I'm comfortable presenting from myself if I do that. Not gonna lie, I feel a little shaky. That's right. I am the DM. I am the god of this world. That's your darn Skippy Tootin'. I appreciate you helping to stroke my ego. That's wonderful and helpful. Okay, we do need to put our wizard tower here. That's a little big, but our wizard tower is going to be kind of like tucked back there. That's where our wizard tower is. So we'll put that right there. And let's go back to our city stuff here. Nope. Grab me. There we go. Got our big... so those don't exactly match, but like, hey, you know, that kind of works. That like fills it in a little bit there. There we go. See, I like that, and I like that there's little gaps there because we can use those to fill in some of our to fill in a few spaces with like a few more unique buildings and stuff like that, just to give it a little spice, right? Just to give it a little bit of little pizzazz, right? We can take like, you know, based on our styles and stuff that we're using, we can take like a bell house, right? We'll make that a little bit smaller. We can put that like right there, right? And we can take like a castle. No, give me the castle. Shrink that down a little bit, and we put, oh, I don't want it to go over top like that. Hold on, undo. That looks ugly. Maybe we'll put the castle like right over there. Right, and that's where the castle goes, and it looks, I don't know, I don't like that castle there though. I think that one looks weird compared to the other stuff that it just doesn't, it's not doing it for me. It's not doing it for me. It's just not, it's not right. It's not right. It's not looking right. I gotta find like, maybe this one would look better. That's more like it. That's the one. No, we can do stuff like that, and we can, I don't know, what other things we can do. Oh, here we go. Towards the outside, check it. We can do like that. And then just to make it so that it doesn't all look too samey, put that right there, I guess. I don't know, it looks a little jarring in comparison. Undo those. Let's put those just like a bit more outlying. There we go. That looks a little less jarring when we kind of put them as more outliers. Do stuff like that. There we go. Maybe we put one up there too. We do stuff like that. I don't know, what other symbols do we have? There's so many things that we can probably kind of do. Like, oh, here we go. We can like put in one of these guys just like up here. Like that not too, that doesn't stick out too much. Maybe one of these broken dudes, like right over here. Do something like that. Maybe there's like a monument in the center. Maybe that's like the city market or something. I don't know. It's largely irrelevant. This isn't really even a living city. It doesn't really matter what we do here. But it's like we want to, if we're going to take the time to do it at all, let's take the time to make it look pretty. You know, that's what my take is. That's what my take is here. So I think that looks good. I think that'll work just fine. And I think, I mean, for the sake of what we're trying to achieve here, I think that's fine. I have a few more details that I want to do. But first things first, I'm in that awkward place where I really got to go potty. So we're just going to go ahead and take a quick pause here. We're going to pause for just like a minute and a half. And I'm going to go make tinkles. And we'll be right back. See how childish I can be about this. And how many different ways I can be a 2-year-old about having to go wee here. Yeah, and you guys, I'm sorry you guys don't get to come with me. This is something that I have to do this on my own, okay, you guys? Like, this is something that I feel like I really needed to do for myself, and I really need to prove that I can handle it on my own. So you guys just sit tight here. I want to be back in just like 20 seconds. Well, okay, probably a little longer than 20 seconds. Please don't scold me if I'm longer than 20 seconds, but you get the idea. Okay, I'm gonna stop trying to be funny about it, and I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll see you shortly. All right, back and with an empty bladder, which is it's an improvement on my situation. Hold on, I gotta position myself here. Okay, there we go. Great. Okay. I did shake the desk a little bit. I'm always trying to like scooch in such a way that I don't shake the desk, and I never succeed. I never succeed. It's probably because it vibrates the floor, and my desk is, go figure, attached to the floor. Like sitting here, why does this happen? Why do physics remain consistent? All right, so I'm looking at this, and I'm gonna do one change really quickly here. Screw these guys. I don't like them. I don't think they fit. I think they look ugly. I don't appreciate them. I want them gone. Okay, so I want to open up our region map again, because what I want to do here is, because I'm a big fan of consistency here. Right, so here's the city, larger, so we've got 2 roads that lead out, and then the one that goes to the tower. So I want to, here we go. So that looks okay. Move that a little bit in. I think that looks better. Yeah, okay, it'll suffice. It'll suffice. It's not perfect, but it'll do. It'll do for what I'm after here. So let's grab a pathway. Let's just do one of these bad boys here. And this pathway leads up to the wizard tower there. And then we've got a pathway that kind of runs out of the city that way. And then we've got a pathway that kind of runs out of the city that way. And that'll kind of do. And I'm not someone who, some people really like to kind of get into it and do like the detailed roads and stuff like that. And it certainly does look pretty, but I've never really mastered getting that to look natural and pretty on this program. So rather than trying to and just like spending an hour trying to get it right and being disappointed in myself, I just kind of leave it and call it a day. I just kind of ignore it and say good enough, and then call it good there. So we're gonna do that. I do want to add a label. We're going to let's see here. Do this as one would expect. We're of course going to go with Bilbo here. And we're going to Mandala. It's the name of our city here. That font size simply will not do. Let's just start stepping it bigger until it's kind of where I want it to be. I'm gonna put the label down at the bottom here. That'll do. So we're gonna do that. And then let's get some curvature going. Maybe not quite that much curvature. There we go. That's good. That makes it look nice. That makes it look nice and script-like. I think that's pretty. It's pretty, and that's the important part there. So we'll do that. Excellent. Okay. All right. I like it. And then the one thing that I always do, I cannot stop myself no matter what, because it just doesn't feel right to me to not have it there. Where you be? Here we go. Let's put our compass rose here. Is this the one that I like to do? No, here we go. This is the one that I like to do right here. Make this a little bit bigger here. Oh, gosh dang it. The river's all up in my grill. How does it look? I guess that's still distinct enough. We can put our compass rose there. And then the other thing that I always like to do under the compass is we always put, I always like to put a one of our distance overlays here. So we're going to, hold on, so the colors here, so here's where I like to get kind of tricksy with this a little bit. So here's something that I have kind of gotten pretty okay at here. Color eyedropper right there. Color again, eyedropper right there. Because I want to make it match. So we'll do that, and then this color is going to be not white, but there we go. So we do that. Segments, we'll do 5 segments. That seems appropriate. Segment distance. Okay, so now what we have to do is I need to compare to, where's our region map here? So our region map here, so this one I didn't make the change there. So I'll probably have to, one of these days, actually take the time to do that. So that is 40 miles across. So this city is somewhere around like maybe 30 miles across or something like that, is the idea. So if we want, so we'll go back to our other one. It doesn't need to be exact, but I mean, I'm going to try and make it look okay, right? So all the way, hey, there we go. So all the way across, this is all 30 miles, right? So let's go ahead and say, let's just go ahead and create. Let's see, I want that to be, let's see, I want it to be smaller. Where's, no, that doesn't help me. Here we go. This is what we need to do. Alright, that's going to be way too slow. Let's try 200. No, that's still too big. Let's try 150. There we go. That looks good. So if we were on about 30 miles across, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe about 8. So there's about 8 of those. So 30. Oh gosh, that's gonna be some awkward math. I think if we actually do 32, if we assume 32 miles for it, that should make some easy enough math for us. Because then 32, my brain isn't interested in doing that one quickly in my head. So that's 4. Wow, that's really pitiful. My brain should have been able to do that one quickly. Whoo, boy, it's a good thing this is not a math tutorial stream or something. That would have been awkward and embarrassing and just frankly disappointing on my part and for everyone else. Not good. Not good. Anyway, so if we do 4 segments, let's do 4 segments with the segment distance being 1 mile. So that'll give us that'll give us kind of what we're looking for there, I think. Kind of center that up there. Hey, Gabby, how's it going? Good to see you here. Okay, so if we set that up like that, that's good. My audio sounds choppy. Hey, all right. I have a new mic, so I'm trying to figure out exactly how to get it right, and trying to figure out how to balance that. I don't know what to do about it sounding choppy. It might have to do with the sensitivity of the Microsoft doing voice activation, where it just like keeps it off. I don't know. Hopefully it'll pan out. If it keeps doing it, let me know. I'll try sitting a little closer to the mic and see if it just picks it up a bit more smoothly. Maybe that's the issue. But I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Okay, so first off, hold on, color. This color is not feeling right to me. I need to try this again. Hold on. I'll figure this out. Okay, I guess that's a little bit better like that. And I think the other thing that'll help is if we go ahead and change our font. Of course, we're doing Bilbo. Our outline, our outline color here. First off, let's eyedrop that. And do that. Okay, I don't know why the miles isn't changing appearance at all, but let's try that. And let's try our font size. Oops, nope, not smaller. I want the font size bigger. There we go. And the only other thing here, so font color. What if we change this? What if we make this just dark? We just do that, and then... Yeah, there we go. That looks better. That's what I'm looking for here. We'll make the font just a little bit bigger. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. That 3 is kind of just tucking himself back there a little bit, but you know, sometimes it be like that. And truth be told, since I'm not getting paid for this, I can't really be bothered to worry about it too much more than that. Only so much headspace I can be bothered to put into this. So told you that. Honestly, it looks good enough. When you're not sitting there zooming in, trying to like overanalyze it, it looks just fine. And for our purposes, I think that'll be just absolutely peachy and dandy and fine and swell and jazzy and anything else we can think of, truthfully. So hooray! Yay and hooray! Okay. So. Yeah, okay, I like that. I kind of like that city map there. The city map that is for a ghost city that we will hardly use at all in the context of this campaign that we are writing. But you know, it is what it is. All right, I think that's good. I like that. I like it. So I had originally thought that by making this map, my thought for this city, because I do still want to like talk about the history of what this city was like when it was alive. But I had thought to put some districts in here and to like map them out, but as I'm looking at this map, I'm remembering why I haven't bothered doing that with any maps any of the other maps that I made for this campaign, or really why I just don't do it for maps in general. And the reason is because I think that for the style that I like to create these maps in, just the stylistic appearance of them, having districts just kind of looks weird. Like, I don't have another way to say it. It just looks weird. Like, if I were to, like, let's go ahead and go with regions, right? If I were to try and make regions, right? Let's suppose I do like this, right? If I go, and if I wanted to make a district here, right? And if this was supposed to be a region, right? Like, we can set that up there, but that just kind of looks weird, right? Because the way it does the filters and everything, it doesn't jive with the hand-drawn look that I'm going for everything, right? Like, I mean, I guess if we tried to, hold on, okay, like, if I tried to, like, oh, it's only gonna do that for, like, the new ones there. I mean, I guess I could try and do that, but really I would just, hold on, undo. No, delete, backspace, stop, no, leave it, oh my goodness. Okay, whatever, make it go away and then undo it. My Atlanta. Because, like, at that point in time, like, I guess if we do, like, inner opacity out, color, eyedrop it, maybe if we had just, like, kind of, hold on. Oh my gosh, the order of operations this thing makes me do sometimes. Well, why doesn't the thing function in the same pattern of disjointed chaos that my brain does? I don't understand. No, I do understand. It makes perfect sense. Like, if we do this, and then if we leave the opacity down and maybe do this, like, how does that look for us? Because, I mean, like, that's a bit better, but it just looks so clinical and printed. You know, like, it just looks clinical and printed when you do it that way, right? And you try to block those things off. Like, the way to make it look okay would be to have it be underneath the stuff, but then you wouldn't hardly see it, and there's not really a point. So it just doesn't end up jiving. And, I mean, I could just put labels for regions. I could try doing something like that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you can send me a little tips to help me get the mic operating smoothly, that would certainly be a wonderful help. And hopefully tomorrow I can get it a little bit more appealing as people want. Because the only help I've had so far is I plugged it in, and last night I used it for D&D, and everyone just said that my voice sounded better. So I don't know. I don't know what they were hearing versus what you guys are hearing, but yeah, I'll see. And I mean, the thing of it is it could be that I've got it as good as it's going to get, because it is only a $50 mic. So it's like, you know, there is a certain degree if you get what you pay for. But, you know, I certainly am always willing to try and make things better. But, oh shoot, no. Space, why does it do this? No, undo. Okay, get out of there. Okay, so I think just leaving it like this is fine. I mean, we could try and do some labels. We could try and do some labels for like for I don't know, different districts and regions and stuff like that. But I think it would just kind of look weird to have that. Like, it would look like someone's handwritten notes or something like that, more than anything else. And I just don't. I don't know. I think I like it as it is. I think I like it as it is. So I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna leave it, and it'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be just fine like that. So yeah, I think this does what I needed to do. And I think that's one of the other important things too, is to remember that this isn't. I don't need this to be anything particularly fancy or functional. It's just a visual that we can provide for our players when the time comes. So we'll do that. That's good. Here's our larger map, and that's fine. Shrink that down just a little bit. So map details, copy the city map is usually what I do there. So I'm not going to worry about that. I am going to describe the regions, even if I don't actually like draw them on there. I will at least describe the regions, because I think that is a helpful thing to do. So let's see here. So we're going to do, I want to set it up, and basically I'm going to set it up to like different districts, and like it's going to seem a little divisive to put it this way, but I'm going to do the districts based on like the different races that were present in the city, right? Because we had humans, we had Leonins, we had dwarves, and we had elves, and like they would probably kind of organize themselves just by naturally looking for familiarity, right? When they move to this city, that is kind of a city that's like I was describing, it's kind of meant to be sort of a melting pot, or at least that's what it was. Moving to the city would be kind of jarring for people who maybe grew up in other cities that were a bit more homogenous in a lot of ways. So we'll go ahead and stick and do it by race, which, like I say, it's a little divisive to put it that way, but I don't know that there's a better way for me to really describe what my vision for this city is here. So we'll do human district, and so the general atmosphere here, so we'll just kind of put in some basic notes here. The human district was the, let's see, it was typically defined by stone and brick buildings and a sense of order about how the people went about their lives. Humans, or we'll say the humans, wowie. Like I always say, it's how you can tell we're kind of moving on to the later half of the stream here when I can't even type things properly. So the humans, what was I gonna say? The humans were a population that thrived on structure, and so arranged it in all facets of their lives, from construction to conduction to how business was conducted. I mean, I honestly, I don't know that we need a whole lot more there. I am just going to say the humans of Minadala were a population that thrived on structure and so arranged, and so I'm going to change that. So injected it into all facets of their lives, from construction to how business was conducted. So let's see here. Permanent locations. I do want to do a couple of these. Mission hooks we won't really need, and random events we won't need, because this isn't a living city, and I will be sort of using our standard dungeon, quote unquote, structure for how I arrange most of this for our players to explore when they get to it. But I do want to put in some permanent locations, just as some basic ideas of places that we can provide for our players. I knew it was going to do that. Just so that way we can provide that for our players, or put that into that dungeon structure when we get to it and we're designing the city with like the adventure part of it in mind. So we'll say I'm gonna change it to like historic locations. Kind of makes a bit more sense just given the context. Yeah, and we don't need to worry about that. So let's see here. So, and we can just kind of put in a few basic things here. So we'll do like the human markets. I'm going to underline that just for the sake of stylistically making it a bit more, make the titles of these places stand out a little bit more. Human markets. This was once an open air market with a collection of permanent not I guess awnings is kind of it. I'm kind of thinking like when you set up a farmer's market, right, and they have like a pavilion that has like a roof over part of it, with a collection of we'll say with a collection of pavilion like that. How do you spell pavilion? There it is. Yeah, okay. So once an open air market with a collection of pavilions that were used to set up market stands. People would sell their wares as well as their produce to anyone visiting the markets. And then what I'm going to say, I'm also going to add just sort of like a modern day blip about what it looks like. Modern day, it is nothing but an empty collection of yeah, I guess we'll just say overhangs in various states of disrepair. We'll just kind of do that. Let's see, what other human things? What other things would be in the human district here? Let's go ahead and put like a theater of some sort here. We'll go ahead and do the theater. Fans of culture and entertainment. Boy, oh boy, my typing's falling apart, guys. My fingers is getting tired and my brain's turning into mush. Fans of culture and entertainment. The humans of the city were big fans of the theater. Used for plays, musicals and concerts in equal measure. There was always something interesting going on at the theater. In modern times, the roof is half caved in some places, but the stage remains intact, as though just waiting for the time when it gets to be the center of attention once again. There we go. That's kind of poetic, isn't it? Not really, but that's fine. We'll do that within the human district. Let's also just go ahead and say residential area. And we'll say the residential area. Human residences were composed of roofed huts and we'll just say like roofed huts and buildings here. Roofed huts and buildings, some multiple stories tall. Humans lived lives. Let's say it this way. The humans valued property and privacy, meaning their buildings were some of the most ornate and private of the various neighborhoods within this city. We'll just kind of do that, and then we'll also do let's do trades district. Trades district within the human district here. And then we'll just say humans, let's see here. Humans were, we'll say prominent crafters within the city. Their trades district had no shortage of shops that could produce, we'll say produce woodworking goods, clothing, and even blacksmithed products. Well, blacksmithed, yeah, that's not really, it's blacksmithing? Yeah, blacksmithing products. There we go, that's what we're looking for. And even blacksmithing products. Shops could produce working clothes and even blacksmithing products. We'll say the Dwarven District blacksmiths would put the humans to shame in most categories. However, the humans produced quality enough work for the sake of tools and basic goods that could be made without frills and on a lower budget. So we'll do that. So just kind of providing some details here. And like I say, I've said it like a million times, so we'll keep saying it. Today, like with this lore, with this city, because the city as it's going to be presented within the context of the campaign that we're writing, this city is going to be, it's going to be, like all this detail rather that we're putting in here is really just sort of establishing a backdrop and giving us a collection of things to springboard off of once we actually get into designing the city as an explorable like dungeon for our players when they're exploring the city, because they're not coming into the city finding active stuff. They're coming into a ghost city that'll be overrun with monsters that they have to sort of search through to find some specific items that they need to progress in their campaign. So this will really functionally be more of a dungeon than a city, but I wanted to sort of offer up this city lore page like this as a way to sort of paint the picture and help us understand what this area should really look like for our players as they're going through it. So I think just kind of giving a handful of sort of prominent areas or locations and what they looked like and felt like is a really good start. We may add stuff to that. We may not use all of these things when we're designing our dungeon, but this just kind of helps us understand the picture, which is really what lore comes down to, right? Like lore isn't stuff that very typically has function within a campaign. You know, there aren't many instances where our players need to understand the deep, complex history of this, that, or the other thing in order to progress. It really is more about painting a picture that help our players get properly immersed in the game that they're playing, so that way they kind of lose themselves and have fun with the whole role play aspect of it all, right? Because if we're not providing an immersive role play experience, we're not really providing the game as it's meant to be played. I mean, even if you're in a game that's really mechanics and combat heavy, there's still lore within it, and like there's and that lore, that sort of immersion, that imagination is the reason we would play D&D, as opposed to, you know, playing a rigid, structured, rules have no leeway video game, right? If even if we're playing a game that's like combat rules heavy, you know, there's a reason we choose D&D as opposed to, you know, just playing any turn-based video game, right? Like there's a reason that we want to have the freedom that this provides, and it's because of those things, that lore, that immersion. So even if you're not playing a role-play heavy game, there's a value to doing this stuff. And so that's really what we're working on when we work on these lore streams and these lore writing sessions, is trying to create a world that feels alive and meaningful to our players. So that's good for the human district. Let's go ahead and do the Leonin district, because they are the second most, or they were the second most populous collective within the city there. So we'll go ahead and work on them a little bit here. So let's say the Leonin district was the second largest within the city, though its population certainly was nowhere near the numbers seen in the human district. Though its population certainly was nowhere near the number seen in the human district. We'll say the Leonins. We'll say this district here. This district was strongly characterized by a way of life that flowed with the world as time passed around it. Buildings and buildings, there it is, and homes, which homes are kind of buildings, but you know what I mean. Buildings and homes, maybe you don't know what I mean, like office buildings and homes? They wouldn't really have office buildings. What? Now there's a question. Someone who knows more about anthropology than me might be able to answer this. When did the concept of an office building become a thing in humans? When did we willfully start electing to choke our souls to death within the confines of a large brick wall that does nothing other than serve as a place for us to do work that we could still get done anywhere else happier in the world, right? Like an office building. Like, what a strange concept an office building is, right? It's like, hey, you know how this business doesn't have a storefront? We should still have a large building where we can collect all of the people and cram them into cubicles, so that way they're even more dead inside. That's what we should do. Like, when did that become the norm? Like, I'm so glad that I don't have to work in an office building anymore. So glad I get to work from home. Like, life is just so much better. Even when I have a super busy day that drives me insane, it's like, at least, man, oh man, at least I can turn on the radio to music that I like without bothering Betsy down the hall, who's gonna, file a complaint with HR about that offensive music that's really loud when I put on, like, classic rock or something, right? Like, gosh, what a better situation. Sorry, what a tangent that was. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, but, I mean, for real, man. For real. Okay, anyway. Buildings and homes were simple, composed primarily of thatched roof huts. Thatched roof huts, rarely expanding above ground floor. There we go. One thing I did realize that I wasn't doing is I wasn't putting what it looks like nowadays. We'll just really quickly here. In modern times, many of these homes are still standing, though few have roofs. Roofs that don't at least leak when it rains. And we'll just do that. That's good. Trades district, that frozen lower budget. We'll say many of these buildings still stand today, housing what remains. He remaimed me. He didn't just maim me, he remaimed me. I healed up and he did it again. He remaimed me. Okay, housing what remains of any tools or equipment that was left behind when the city was abandoned during the unhinging. Boom, there we go. Okay, that's what we needed to do. I was forgetting to do that part of it. Really expanding above ground floor. These people lived connected to the earth and to the... Okay, so here's another question. Question for the peanut gallery. Just because I don't know that there's a right answer to this, because it's all a matter of fiction. We say attached to the earth to mean like the ground or the area or like, you know, property or something like that. We say, you know, I live a life in tune with the earth, right? Which then means like nature. We use the term earth very loosely. But it all relates back to the fact that we live on what we call planet Earth. So if my D&D world is called Zaoria, do I then say these people lived connected to the Zaoria? Because they're not on Earth. They're on their own planet, and they call planet Zaoria, which is like synonymous with like it's their Earth. But like Earth is a proper noun, the same as it's a regular one. So like, does that change the language? I don't know. It sounds weird, but that's because we've used the term Earth forever. So like, I don't know. I think I'm thinking too much about it. These people lived connected to the Earth and saw little need to elevate themselves above it. There we go. Boom. That's, you know, rarely expanding above ground floor. So there we go. That's great. It's perfect. It's grand. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Cool. Some historic locations. Historic locations. I need to put that one right there. No, there's more than one. There we go. And then bullet point that bad boy right there. Great. Okay. So let's see here. Historic locations. Immediately my first thought is we'll say the community bonfire, or we'll say community fire pit. So the Leonin people being very connected to their ancestral ways of life and to the earth around them itself, often partook in various rituals revolving around many things, such as moon cycles, weather, and passage of years, we'll say. Most of these rituals included large gatherings of the community around a single fire, around a single bonfire, during which food was made, music was played, dancing was danced, dancing was done, and cheer was shared. This particular pit was surrounded by many stone benches, as well as a collection of smaller fire pits to serve the large crowds crowds that would come to these events. Today, the pits remain. We'll say the pits and benches remain, though any remnants of fires have long since been washed away. Boom, there we go. Okay, so like they would have something like that, I imagine. I'm also going to say Textile District. The Leonin people were adept at various fabric based crafts, blankets, shoes, and clothing were clothing made by Leonin people were highly sought after by visitors and residents alike for the quality and beauty they knew how to sew into their works. Could say that. Let's see here. I sought after by visitors and residents alike for the quality and beauty they knew how to sew into their works. Though much of the buildings and workspaces have fallen apart over time, many of the various looms and other equipment used in this district remain, serving as an open-air time capsule of how life once was here. Boom, there we go. So we can give them the Textile District. We're going to go ahead and let's do residential district here. Leonins, we'll say Leonin people did not have much use for indoor spaces, preferring to stay outside and immersed in whatever weather nature provided for them. Preferring to stay outside and immersed in whatever weather nature provided for them. They would construct simple huts for protection from particularly hazardous weather, and otherwise enjoyed open spaces and large yards in which to partake in life's daily activities. Boom, there we go. That's good. That's all we need there. Residential district. We'll say few of the huts still stand today, but buried under only thin layers of dust and soil are many artifacts of the culture that once lived here. So we'll do that. And then the other thing that I'm thinking for these guys is we're going to say, I'm going to put down like a historic location that I imagine they would have, would be community amphitheater. And then we'll say, while the human district had the city's premier indoor theater for outdoor events, the Leonin district. Wow, man, my fingers are falling apart here. For outdoor events, the Leonin district was the place to be. The massive amphitheater would be used for shows and concerts. Almost constantly in the times of good weather. Even city council meetings would take place outdoors here when possible to accommodate as many people as possible, particularly when hot button issues were to be discussed. And we'll go ahead and say the amphitheater theater still stands today, a massive bowl in the earth of the we'll say ground, because I had that whole existential crisis about whether or not I would use the term earth or not, so we'll just avoid the issue altogether. A massive bowl in the ground, where it always was. We'll say, that said, it is worth watching your step, as many of the stairs have crumbled over time. Just to inject a little levity in there. Not everything has to be such a clinical description, am I right? So that'll work out well. Great. Okay, so we definitely still have some more to do, but having just finished up a few important areas for the Leonin district here, and also considering the fact that I misspelled 4 out of 5 words there, I think that's going to be a good place to actually pause on this project. And we'll actually, I think I may, on Friday when we bring back up and start working again on our campaign itself here, I think I might have us finish this, because finishing this is going to be very valuable, and then proceeding with the part of the campaign that's going to be taking place within this ghost city. So I think we've made some good progress here. I think I have, at least for myself, a clearer vision of kind of what this city looks like and what types of stuff to present to players as we're constructing it and building our next chapter of the campaign. So I'm really glad we took the time to do this. It's not as thrilling perhaps as some of the other stuff that I've worked on, but it's valuable, it's really important, and it's the type of foundational stuff that's really going to serve us well as we continue to work on our bigger project, our project at large, if you will. So I'm pleased with what we've done today. I think this is good. I think this is really good. So then what's going to happen is I will take a bit of a break here. Let me actually bring us to just chatting here. Just whoosh this over here. Whoosh. Yeah, there we go. So I guess actually what I'll say is thank you to everyone who stopped by. If you're curious about the campaign and some of the other stuff that I've worked on, or what else I'll be working on, or just any of my writing stuff in general, you can always go and look at the backlog of the different writing streams that I've done. I put up all of the VODs on my YouTube channel, and you can find the link to that in my About page. So you can go check that out, or you can check me out later in the week, depending on what day of the week it is. I work on different aspects of all of my writing stuff and all of my different homebrew stuff. So you can see, when we're working on lore like we did today, when we're working on like actual campaign, gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, we do that. I even have streams where I work on sort of like house rule type stuff that I use with my players. Lately we've been working a lot on sort of this rune-esque system that I've constructed for 5e that I like to use with my players, and so we have a lot of fun with that. So if you're interested in what I've been working on here, definitely check out some of the VODs and check me out throughout some of my other streams. Like I say, the VODs you can find on my YouTube channel, and the link to that is in the About page. It also got mentioned at some point in today's stream, but I also have a Discord, so if you want to just like chit chat about the ideas that you have or get thoughts on stuff that you've made or anything like that, you can get yourself connected with my Discord server. I try my best to stay pretty active there. It's a really good place that we can just kind of discuss different homebrew stuff, different D&D stuff, video game stuff. I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. It's just a fun place for me to feel connected to the people that are watching and sort of get an idea of what stuff you guys are interested in, so I know what I can do for my streams to make sure that like it's not just me having fun when I'm sitting here writing stuff, so that other people can see me work on stuff that they're interested in and all that kind of stuff. So get yourself connected with that. That's also a good place to go if you want announcements about streams, like when I'm going live, if I have to change my schedule and stuff like that. I try to put updates and alerts and stuff on there. Just some of the other places you can see me, if you can find me via like social media and all that kind of stuff. I do have a Twitter at EnviroStreams. I don't really know how to use Twitter. Like, there's some people that just like our Twitter users, and I'm not typically that, but I'm trying to learn. I do use it for announcements about when I'm going live and stuff like that too, so if you want to get little buzzes for when I'm going live, you can follow me there. And I'm also trying to use that. I'm trying to start using that as a way to like sort of share and call out different things that I've been interested in and that I like, like different music, different movies and stuff like that, just as a way to sort of offer a little blips about the stuff that I'm liking, the stuff that inspires me when I'm doing my writing is kind of what that breaks down to. So if you're kind of interested in just getting some of those insights, then check me out there on Twitter. I also have an Instagram, EnviroBoy Streams. You can find me there. That's where I like to share a lot of my other interests and stuff, because people will often ask me about my kickboxing or my rock climbing and stuff. So I put little blips about those parts of my life on there. So if that's of interest to you, then follow me on Instagram. Again, that's EnviroBoy Streams. And so that pretty much covers all of my social media links. The other link you'll find in the About page, and also for the record, if you're watching this as a VOD on YouTube, you can find all of this in the video description down below. But the other one that I have is I do have a link to a donation page. For the most part, what's actually really helpful to me and what is really meaningful to me as a budding streamer, someone who's just like really doing this for fun, is just if you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and then just be there when I'm streaming. It's so much fun when there's people having discussions and talking about the stuff that interests them while I'm streaming, sharing ideas about writing or video games or whatever. It's, that's what makes it really fun for me. So that's really the thing that you can do to support me. Tell a friend that you like my streams and tell them that they should come check it out if you think they would like it. That type of stuff. But I know some people like to do even more for the content producers that they like. And so if you're one of those people, I do have a donation page, and that stuff like, the donations, I use that as well as some of my own money to help me get this new mic that I need to figure out how to set up, but at least the sound quality will be better once I get it set up than using my goofy little headset mic and stuff like that. So it's like, that also helps me sort of set up and just kind of get a little bit more professional. And I wouldn't call anything I do here professional, but you know what I mean. It just kind of improves the quality, and I want to produce good quality stuff for you guys. It means a lot that you guys check out and like the stuff that I do, so I want to make sure I provide something that's good and meaningful to you guys too. So yeah, if that's a meaningful way to support me for you, then you can by all means do that, and it will always be appreciated, but it's absolutely never required. I love just sitting here streaming, and I will continue to do so, especially if you guys just hang out and watch and chat with me while I do it. So that's all my self plugs. I kind of started to mention it. I'm going to take a break. I'm not done streaming for the day, but I am going to take a break. I will probably use that break to fiddle with my mic settings for a little bit. So normally I would leave you here with a little bit of music during the intermission. I will probably just go ahead and stop so that way I can mess with my mic just a little bit without like bothering everyone and like accidentally deafening everyone if I mess up a setting. But I'll probably take about 15 minutes, mess with my mic a little bit, and then we'll be back and we're going to switch over and do some gaming. I am going to continue my playthrough of Halo 2. And I recognize that all of the old Halo games are of minimal interest to most people, but damn it, I love it, and it's my stream, and I don't make any more or less money by streaming this, so y'all got to put up with me fanboying over Halo 2. So I'll be back doing that a little bit, hopefully with a slightly more fine-tuned microphone setup. But yeah, so if you're interested in that and you want to just chit chat with me about video games and stuff like that, then stick around or come back in a few minutes and come hang out with me then. Either way, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Like, really, truly, it means a lot to me. Like, I was talking with a friend. I have a friend I have a friend from like grade school, and she does my hair. She's my like hairstylist because that's what she does for a profession. And I want to support her. So whenever I go back and visit my family in my hometown, I go get myself looking nice and fresh from her. And and she and I were talking about just how meaningful it is when people just support us and give us like positive feedback or any feedback when we do the things that we love to do. It's like she loves that I go and get my haircut from her, and I'm like, anything to support you. I think it's awesome that you do this and you do a great job. And so just it's meaningful to me that you guys come here and watch me while I'm streaming, because that's like the version of you guys providing that positive feedback and that sort of just that good vibe to me, and that I can't overstate how that means something to me. Like that's, I don't know, I just think it's really cool. I don't know, I'm gushing a little bit here, but I think there's some really cool people in my audience, and I just want y'all to know that I appreciate you. So, okay, I got a little aggressive at the end. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be aggressive, because I'm saying something nice and from the heart. Okay, I'm going to stop, and yeah, I'm going to go to a break. So I'll leave it with music for just a minute, but then I'll probably cut it off a little early so I can tool around with my mic. But then hopefully in like 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes, I will be back. We'll be playing some Halo, and it's going to be a really good afternoon when we do that. So sit tight. I appreciate you. Y'all are super awesome, fabulous people. Keep being super awesome, fabulous people, and I will be back hopefully very shortly. So I'll see you then.